Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 11, text number 32. Yeno pashrishtat purusha loka udvijate brisham buddhastadvasham gachet icchannabhayam atmanaha. A person who desires liberation from this material world should not fall under the control of anger, because when bewildered by the anger, one becomes a source of dread for all others. Purport. A devotee or saintly person should not be dreadful to others, nor should anyone be a source of dread to him. If one treats others with non-enmity, then no one will become his enemy. There is the example, however, of Jesus Christ, who had enemies, and they crucified him. The demoniac are always present, and they find fault even in saintly persons. The saintly person never becomes angry, even if there is very great provocation. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Swami Madhu is continuing his further instructions to Dhruva Maharaj in the matter of Dhruva Maharaj becoming uncontrollably angry with the yakshas. Yesterday we discussed how anger can be controlled or uncontrolled. Anger is part of social interaction or social intercourse with so many other living entities in this material world, interactions. So anger is very much part of life. That was discussed yesterday. Unlike how the Mayavadis, their understanding towards anger is that it is to be shunned at all costs, or it is Maya. And we understand that everything has its place, and yesterday's Prabhupada purport he talked about where exactly Dhruva Maharaj went wrong. Dhruva Maharaj could have retaliated by killing that particular yaksha who killed his brother, but rather he went on a spree to kill everybody. So uncontrolled anger is undesirable. But even as per dharma also, controlled expression of anger, especially for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. As per your dharma, if your rightful share is deprived, that is another kind of anger. And there is anger in devotional service when somebody offends Vaishnavas, Guru, Krishna, or somebody offends devotional service itself, obstructs devotional service. There is a place for anger. Now here it is said that what that anger causes. We already discussed that anger cannot be avoided, but it can be controlled. In this verse also, Person who desires liberation from this material world should not fall under the control of anger. Anger is different, falling under the control of anger is. Just like yesterday's purport, Narada Rishi told the snake, see, I only told you not to bite people. But you can always raise your hood and you can hiss, you can show your anger. Because when the snake stopped biting people, children started playing with the snake by throwing stones at the snake. The snake complained back to Narada Rishi, you told me this, now I am following this, I am getting nicely stoned. So Narada Rishi's reply was, no, you show that you are angry. This is called controlled anger. Purposeful anger. You don't get angry to let out your steam and frustration. Utility-based anger. Some places anger helps, some places anger is counterproductive. Sometimes even with children, sometimes it is counterproductive anger, sometimes it is productive. So we have to judge where it helps. There, the children, they feel that, oh, I have displeased my parents. Like that. It's an example. So anger has another dimension. When there is love with the children, then there is anger, let us say, and the child understands that I have displeased my parents who love me, or I have displeased my authority who loves me. There is another kind of an effect that my anger can have on another living entity. And that is dreadful feeling. When somebody is feeling that he is cornered, he is attacked, he is tortured, and that is called dreadful feeling. So when one expresses anger, and if he creates dreadfulness in an innocent person, that creates a very bad karma for the person who is expressing such anger. And one of such dreadful anger that produces dread in others is when you abuse your power. You are in a more powerful position. And then everybody is dreadful of you, fearful of you. So that cannot be a proper utilization of anger. It will bring bad karma to the person. So we should be very careful that becoming angry can also create bad karma for oneself. Because the jiva himsa, unnecessarily to put threat to another living entity is jiva himsa. Of course, these are all guidelines. In the course of executing one's duty, if somebody makes a decision that becomes dreadful for the other person, that one cannot help. One cannot help. Just like in Kurukshetra, full of attack and counter-attack and dread and anger and everything was there. That is part of the Dharma Yuddha. That could not be. All these, in the matter of executing one's duty, especially whether it is within the Varnashrama or within duty, within the devotional service, assigned devotional service, then one cannot also be very sentimental about these things. One has to express anger as required, in spite of knowing that the other person is hurt, will be hurt. So we don't have an absolute kind of a philosophy that you cannot be angry with anybody. Neither do we have a philosophy that you can be angry with anybody, any amount. All these things put a circle around how we have to have self-control over anger. And that comes from self-control over kamayesha krodesha, self-centered desires. Moment there is anger, then one can immediately conclude there is frustration of some desire. Now that frustration of that desire, for instance, a Vaishnava is dishonored. That is something that he doesn't desire to happen. So therefore he gets angry. Or something for self-centered enjoyment is deprived by somebody, then that also kamayesha krodesha. It brings krodha. So human form of life, all these kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, these negative emotions, they keep surfacing up from our subconscious due to our past perceptions, imperfect perceptions, non-Vaishnava perceptions. They keep rising up in our consciousness. And these, as they rise up, we have to, that is where self-control comes. We have to control these forces in a way in which it is pleasing to Guru and Krishna. So it's not that we don't deal with these things. These forces we have to deal with in this material world. And when we deal with these negative forces in our life, day to day, for instance, if lust comes, rises in our mind, from the subconscious mind, then it is an opportunity given by the Lord in the heart. Do you want devotion service or do you want sense gratification? It's a test for yourself. If you're serious about going back to Godhead, you can test for yourself whether you are serious or not. Simply saying I'm serious about going back to Godhead is not enough. Nobody is holding your hands. Are you expressing your desire to go back to Godhead by rejecting things unfavorable for devotion service, accepting things favorable for devotion service? Devotees have to constantly practice, every whole day he has to practice this exercise of free will in terms of choosing Krishna against Maya. And that rejecting Maya itself is devotional service. Sometimes devotees think that devotion service means something I should be doing, something I should be doing. Not doing is also devotional service. Not doing what? Not doing what is displeasing to Krishna. But your mind says it should be done for my sense gratification. You say no, that is devotional service. You're not doing anything. Something came up in your mind and you're saying no, it's devotional service. The Lord in the heart is immediately pleased with any small decision you take. Sulpamalpamasya dharmasya. Little towards Him, to please Him, that will save one from the greatest danger. The life of a Mayavadi or the absolute life of the final so-called perfect life of a Mayavadi is free from all these kind of... it's very easy to be a Mayavadi. Very difficult to be a Vaishnava. For a Mayavadi, anger comes, he says, this is Maya. Very easy solution. Maya, don't be angry. Not that he'll be successful. It's very difficult to suppress things. Very easy to dovetail. So, Mayavadis will say, no anger. Now, devotees have to think how much angry I should be. Or for what purpose I should be angry. Here is a situation that has come. What is the pleasure of Guru and Krishna in this matter? So real proper conduct as a Vaishnava is a very big challenge for proper Vaishnava behavior. And the reward also is so wonderful. How when Ambarish Maharaj was attacked by Durvasha Muni, the Lord himself was hurt. And Durvasha Muni was not forgiven by the Lord. So that is the reward. Immediately the Lord is pleased with the humble behavior of the devotee. As Prabhupada says, even when provoked, if there is no purpose, just out of ego, he doesn't react with anger. No doubt it's a challenge. When we hear all these wonderful leelas of Dhruva Maharaj being spoken to by Swayambhu Manu, and Swayambhu Manu's analysis as to where exactly he went wrong in the matter of anger. Because he is a king. If somebody kills his brother, can he keep quiet? He cannot keep quiet. Prabhupada explains that yes, he could have killed that particular Rakshas over. But he went uncontrolled. This we had discussed yesterday. How, if somebody is done something, even if there is a Shastric injunction to retaliate, there is an injunction as to how much you should retaliate and etc. You cannot go completely uncontrolled. So everywhere the living entity has to act with self-control. And when he acts with self-control, it immediately pleases the Lord in the heart. Unless one is Krishna conscious, always wanting to please Krishna, as love of Krishna, very difficult to have exemplary conduct of a Vaishnava. An Acharya. Acharya means one who sets example. Guru who sets example. Like Srila Prabhupada. So his conduct everywhere, his leelas are a great treasure for us, where we learn or we can see the wonderful qualities of Srila Prabhupada, how he dealt with so many situations, how he dovetailed anger, dovetailed lust, dovetailed everything that his disciples have, and is continuing to do so in service of the Lord. So what a challenging task is for the spiritual master. And Prabhupada's pastimes are to be read and understood from the aspect of his wonderful Vaishnava qualities. What is behind it? That his compassion towards living entities, his love for the Supreme Lord. These are the three things we should feel when we hear the pastimes of the Lord, of his devotees. And it's a fact that every Leela of Srila Prabhupada is an embodiment of compassion and embodiment of love of God. And as we hear these pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, it molds our character, and we learn how to be a mature devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. Of course, all these wonderful qualities will automatically come once self-centeredness is given up. And everything is, you start perceiving everything with Krishna pleasure-centered. Guru's pleasure. How to please Guru and Krishna. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Part and parcel means has to satisfy the whole. So we are situated perfectly in our thinking, feeling, willing, acting, desiring, seeing, everything. We are perfectly situated when we are in connection with the Supreme Whole. Part and parcel and the whole. So automatically one gets spiritual intelligence to how to behave, how to live in each situation. If Krishna's pleasure is kept as foremost and control self-centered desire, self-centered, that's called false ego. Because the Atma, the soul, is not false ego. Soul is real ego. Real ego is eternal servant of Krishna. That eternal servant of Krishna, that spirit ego, is haunted by a false ego, haunted by a false identity, haunted by an imagination of that something that you are not. And that is false ego. Real ego plus false identity. Real ego plus forgetting real identity and identifying with a false identity is equal to false ego. The ego force behind the false ego is nothing but my spirit ego. The personality force behind a haunted person is nothing but the real person. But he is haunted. So we can devastate our spiritual life, because anger is also one of the starting points for Vaishnava offense. Also we should remember. One thing is about Jiva-himsa. Is hurting any living entity by creating a dread in him about you. As Prabhupada says, nobody should fear you. And neither should I fear anybody. This should be our policy of life. I fear Guru and Krishna. I fear displeasing them. I have no other fear in life. I don't fear any human beings. I fear my karma. I fear my actions. Neither anybody should be fearful of me in this world. We all have different degrees of, in the material world means always power is very much part of we are handling power. Every living entity is of course constitutionally powerless because all power belongs to Krishna. So, but we all handle power in different circumstances. Power keeps coming and going. Just like I read one Prabhupada statement that the devotee is powerful as long as Krishna keeps him powerful. Huh? Devotee is powerful as long as Krishna keeps him powerful. So if you misuse your power to create dread in other devotees, other Vaishnavas, Why it happens? Because of controlling nature. That is called false ego. That kind of controlling nature, all these things are rooted in comparing with each other. One should be simply absorbed in devotion service of the Lord. Mind owns own business. Should not spend time comparing with other devotees. Whatever that may be. When you compare and feel that somebody has got less than you, then you become proud. When you compare with somebody and you see that he has something more than you, it generates jealousy. So mind is a machine, how you concord, according to that all these emotions develop. So it's a very great relief and a liberation for a Vaishnava if he becomes free from comparison. When you compare with others, then you have a torturous life. It will harass the mind. To perform devotional service, one has to have a liberated mind. Means not choked like this. Choked with fear. So anger also becomes a root cause for Vaishnava offense. And that again will destroy our devotional service. So it is worth, through all these pastimes, devotee understands how to handle anger. Anger cannot be avoided, how to handle it. How much, where, what is allowed. Anger is an emotion. Emotion means it drives you to action. If you don't have the right anger for the right cause, then you cannot function also. You will be just a so-called sadhu. There are so many occasions where Prabhupada was angry. But he was very careful. See, in India, their value is that sadhu should never get angry. So I remember once, just 1 year after joining, I was in a train journey. So then a lot of people were there. So I was discussing philosophy. And many older people and all, they were all from the other side compartment, they all came. They were all sitting and I was preaching about Krishna consciousness and something. And then half an hour, everybody was excited and just... Because you know how much fired up you are when you just discover Krishna, the cause of all causes. And then you change your life and you're out for preaching Krishna consciousness. So much fire was there. Oh, they were all surrounded. And they were all pushing each other and sitting. Little space. So somewhere one person brought Mayavadism. And in the process of talking to him, in my enthusiasm, I was a little angry with him. Within 5 minutes, I saw everybody slowly going away. They all got up and went away. They cannot see sadhus angry. Though from our point of view it is, so this is another dimension. In this for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, what kind of Mayavadi is he? All 90% of Indian Mayavadis are not Mayavadis. They don't know what is Mayavadism. They don't know how deeply envious that is. So why devotee is angry when it comes to Mayavadism? Because it's about a kind of an envy of the Lord. We cannot withstand it. But we should understand that not all people are even understand Mayavadis. So, in that circumstances, I learnt, when you preach in India, you cannot go simply by, okay, now I should be angry. What is the result for Prabhupada? So you should be very careful, very tactful. In fact, on the other hand, if I had maintained my thing, my cool, and then talked to him, I would have won over all of them, all the others, innocent people. So, managing anger is very essential with one compass, what pleases Guru and Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, regarding the fearful situations. Sometime a devotee comes in a circumstances where he had gone through a situation where fear has come in while rendering in the process of devotional service. So it has gone into a stage where you had mentioned once about a self-talk, right, in that stage. So how a devotee should overcome? When I say the self-talk, it is like a fearful situation from the authorities or anything. It's like, it's stuck over there. How do we overcome?
No, with respect to guideline for ourselves, if there is a situation of fear created in the course of, say, dealing with the authorities, if there is no love, then it's very difficult. Because, as I gave you example, when a child parents are angry with the child, then if there is no compensating factor of love, if the child is not also feeling love, then the child will not take that anger properly. It will become a dread. So, either you become angry knowing very well properly, you lovingly become angry, or you don't get angry. Now, those who know this philosophy of Krishna consciousness, you know that, let us say, I know that some people will get angry with me. So let me see what is Guru and Krishna's pleasure in this situation. So that way we should train our mind to see what is Guru and Krishna's pleasure. If Guru and Krishna is there is no question of fear coming there. Let us say in case carelessly he has mishandled it and then he has developed fear and creates self-talk and increases his fear. Then when you know this, why it is, you do a counter self-talk, come out of it. We have to come out of all these kind of things by contemplation and help of Guru and Krishna, you can take out. Because after all, we have to live in the midst of devotees. When you live in the midst of devotees, even there are good reasons to be upset with somebody. Don't be upset. Don't turn it into emotion. We should keep our mind very light. What is the functional consequence of that? Is my service affected? Then you handle that through the authority system. Otherwise, it should not become personal with anybody. The moment we become very personal with somebody, then, see, two things. Becoming personal and appreciating a cause behind it. Let us say if somebody becomes angry with you, then two ways of seeing it. One is, he is angry with me. Another is, he is also like me. There is a reason why he is angry with me. You see the reason. Then the anger, then your anger, the anger you will start, it's not about anger, it's a reason for being angry. Now the reason if the reason is bona fide, then you will be very pacified. Yeah, you have a right, Prabhu, to get angry. If the reason is not correct, it is whimsical, then you instead of dealing with anger, you are dealing with those reasons with your mind. It is already, you are depersonalized it. You are not going on basis of the person. The person, you cannot, because a devotee becomes angry in a moment. That is not his total personality. He has so many nice qualities. But our mind gets stuck. The moment you see him, you say, okay, yes, this person, which is not true. So always go to the cause of anger. If you go to the cause of other people's anger, you will feel, oh, he is justified. He is justified. Maybe with improper conclusion, he is angry. That's a different matter. At least he is not personal with me. There is a reason for it. Otherwise, if you don't see the reason, you will always think that this person is always after my blood. And then enmity develops. Any other question? And another thing is, if somebody is wrongly angry with you, how not to feel personal is from your heart you forgive him. I was not due this anger. मैं कुछ गलत नहीं किया है, फिर भी उसने मेरे ऊपर गुस्सा किया. दिल में माफी कर दो, दिल शांत हो जाएगा. नहीं तो माफी नहीं करेगा तो you got supporting reason also. Wrongly he got angry with me. Wrongly he got angry with me. More. It becomes aggravated. So forgiving is a very, very, very powerful thing to keep clean heart. In interrelationship with Vaishnavas, forgive from your heart, aage badho. You will have a light heart. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Here Dhruva Maharaj is killing Yakshas. As a king he was doing that, as a management. But he was angry. The spiritual master Narada Muni has come and he was telling about what is right, what is wrong. So similarly, sometimes we play role as a management for some people. So I become angry. So now, apart from Srila Prabhupada purports, so what is the help that I'm not going in the right direction? Because I have taken some reason that they are wrong. So I'm executing my decision. But here Narada Muni is coming and telling that it's wrong. But as if I am acting as a management, so who will help me that?
Who is?
Like Narada Muni is coming and helping. Sorry,
Swayambhava
coming and helping Dhruva Maharaj that you are wrong, you are going wrong direction. So, but in devotional activities, when sometimes I am acting as a management for someone else, but I am going wrong. So here, apart from Srila Prabhupada purports and Bhagavatam classes, so it's a personal level because it is a...
Because there are so many other Vaishnavas are there. Okay. Other Vaishnavas are also there. You can ask, they will, what is your perspective? They will give you the perspective. Take association, no?
Okay.
So you discuss with the devotees. Take association and straighten your perspective. Or understand, life is very complicated. That also, you should not think that everything will be very clear and resolved. This itself is a mistake and assumption. You should learn how to live in the midst of many situations in life where you cannot ascertain what is right, what is wrong, what is truth, what is untruth, what is fair, what is unfair. Best of our ability, go forward in life, that's all. If you are thinking in terms of black and white, here is right, here is wrong, there is no end to it. Because 100 people will have 100 opinions. Is it not?
Next question is when there is a disagreement between the two Vaishnavas.
There is a
disagreement between the two Vaishnavas. So, in a particular situation, one Vaishnava is relatively right, relatively wrong, one person. But when we ask for a discussion, they say, no, you can, I don't have time. But when the situation goes forward, there is a situation that now the person who was right in the initially, now he has taken some decision, he is wrong now. So now the other Vaishnava is saying, okay, let us have discussion now, because now you are in a wrong position, now I can win over the situation. So if this kind of situations are there, so can we apply a method of what Narada Muni is saying, that to snake, please show your anger also on other person, other devotee.
You can.
Sorry, Swayambhuva Manu.
All these things are practical questions. In practical situations, in terms of how it affects your mind, you should deal with it. Just before I explained, there is no absolute right, absolute wrong in all these things. The point here is ultimately whether you hurt your mind or you keep your mind healthy state. That should be your criterion. Not about truth, whether it truly hurt me or truly not hurt me, whether it truly hurt you or truly not hurt you. The best thing is not to get hurt. So you are analyzing, it truly hurt me or truly? If it has truly hurt me, I should feel hurt. If it's not truly, then I should not feel hurt. No. That is separately analyze. Hurt, not hurt. But as far as I am concerned, I don't take hurt. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. You do not take hurt doesn't mean you cannot discuss. In fact, you can discuss and come to truth much better if you are not hurt. What is there hurt today? Hurt, forgetting, tomorrow you forget. What is all these things? Hundreds of situations will be there, contradicting with each other and all this fighting and all these things. Then forget all these things. Even we cannot remember. Is it not? Sometimes some devotee come and told, Prabhu, you remember that? I said, I don't remember. He is remembering.